In this week's video, we say goodbye to guests, take a few fantastic walks, watch some crazy canoeists tackle the extraordinarily high waters at Carrbridge, and get stuck into some more woodworking projects. But first, when 2024 started, we had no idea what lay ahead. Through a twist of fate and travelling for over 2 years, we would end up appearing on Escape to the Country, finding our dream home in the Highlands, and moving in just in time to host family for Christmas. Oh, by the way, we are Kath, Sue and Fudge, so why not come along and see what 2025 has in store? Well, good morning. We're in that phase now between Christmas and New Year. We're just about to take Sue's mum back to the train station for her to get home. Sue and I are going to go for a walk and try and work off some of all that Christmas stuff. Well, it's a miserly day here today in Aviemore. We're here to say goodbye to Esna. We've had a fantastic Christmas and we're just hoping her train's on time. Bye, Esna.
Bye, thanks again.
Bye, Esna. Well, that's it. We've said goodbye to Esna now, and we're now going to have to gear up for our next visitor. So I say have to, we're looking forward to it, because in 2025, very early in 2025, we have more visitors. But for now, we are going to get some wrapping paper for Dan's birthday present and get that in the post, and then we're going to take Fudge for a walk. She's been very patient this morning, and but we've got a nice long walk planned, and we'll take you with us as well. Well, today's walk starts at the Altban car park near Glenmore, and we'll walk into the forest and do a big circuit. Sue thinks it's about a 4-mile walk, so it's a decent one. We've done this one before, and we might even get a glimpse of the Green Loch again. Can't remember if we go up that high. Anyway, we don't. Oh, we don't go up that high. Anyway, as you can see, we start by the river. And then we've followed the river and we eventually come to this beautiful little footbridge. A bit further along this walk we come to this other, more substantial bridge. Well, it's nice being in the woods because we love being in the woods, but you can't see any of the peaks today. They're all completely hidden in cloud. And I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that because they're in cloud, it might mean at the top there's a bit of snow. Well, folks, I'd like to be videoing quite a bit more of this walk, but the rain keeps coming and going. And I've got my push mics on. Shouldn't have done that really. My own silly fault. So I'm going to stop here on this walk so I can put my camera all the way in my pockets, keep it nice and dry, and well, hopefully we'll pick you up the pine marten when we're having lunch. Well, we're almost back where we started and it's still drizzling a little bit, so sorry I haven't been able to film a bit more of this walk because it is really a nice one. And we can take you on it on another day. Well, in between all the Christmas preparations, my latest project is making 2 small side tables for my nephew and his girlfriend who are just about to move into their first home. When making this coffee table, I decided to glue the tabletop first, slightly oversized, so I could cut it down to the perfect size at a later date. The challenge is it's just about the edge of the capacity of my saw. I'm all steamed up. I've got to wait to unsteam a bit. Moment of truth. 22. 31.5. Only notice. That's the challenge of this piece. There are more challenges to come. So to save you from the lengthy explanation I'm about to give on this video, I'm just going to explain what I'm trying to explain in a shorter version. Basically, I need to cut the short skirt pieces down from a width of 70mm to 40mm, and the saw I've got isn't really designed to do that, so it's a bit tricky. Having cut down the 4 skirts to the right size, I've decided it'd be a good idea to dry fit them in place just to make sure all the measurements are correct. So that's looking about right. We just need to cut these down and make them thinner now. And that is where the biggest challenge, I think, of the cutting comes in. Oh, hey up, here we go, another lengthy explanation. The short version is, I need to put some clamps in place so I can keep my fingers away from the blade and successfully make the cut. Having cut all the short pieces for the skirt to the right size, I'm explaining that I'm going to be putting pocket hole screws in place. Well, I've put all the pocket screws in, so just so you can see what I mean, that's a short piece. You can see both top and bottom, it's got a pocket hole. These are the longer pieces and they've got pocket holes top and bottom. Hopefully you can see, I'll put it that way up, that way up. They've got these 2 holes here, so that will be the tabletop and they'll screw in up through there. Well, now it's time to get on with sanding all the various pieces down, starting with a coarse sandpaper, graduating down to something of about 180 grit, particularly important for the tabletop. And this is where I took a break for the day, but back in the workshop with all the pieces cut to size, with all the pocket holes in place, it was time to try to assemble the table legs for this small table. I used a piece of 9mm ply as a spacer to give the legs the little inset that I wanted, and then spent a long time making sure everything was square before clamping into place for the next challenge of getting those pocket hole screws in place without anything moving, including the camera. Having assembled the other end of legs in the same way, the big challenge came now in trying to clamp down the various bits of wood to get the middle's 2 skirts in place. Ooh, baby! Nice! I spent a long time with the square, making sure everything was square, and also came up with a clamping system so that everything would stay square whilst I was driving in the pocket screws. As this is such a small table and the width between legs isn't much, this became the next challenge because I couldn't get the screwdriver bit in to that small space. So what I've got here is I bought this little right angle thing. Now it's not that easy because you actually have to hold that with some force, and at the same time I kind of want to hold bits of this. I haven't got so many hands, and Sue's out. Otherwise I could ask her to help me, but basically holding that turns that and I can get at it at a right angle. But as I said, it really isn't that easy. After some failed attempts at getting screws in, more clamping ingenuity was required. Yes! Bingo! Woo! Well, after lot of faffing and pulling screws in and out, you can see that I have managed to achieve a table without much of a wobble. I'm sure when the top goes on, it'll be fine. And now that the legs and the tabletops are all assembled, it's time to get staining before we'll later varnish and then finally fit the worktop to the tables. Well, this is another day in paradise. I'm on to another project. A family member lost a bird box, in fact an owl box, in the latest storm and wondered whether I could make a new one. Well, the truth is I had no idea whether that was possible or not, but I got a pattern from the Owl Trust and got started. This was the first time I'd ever worked with large sheets of ply, and I had to cut out a pattern using a jigsaw. Well, the only jigsaw I have is a very inexpensive one I bought from a charity shop. I'll probably upgrade this at some point, but for now, it's great, it did the job. My cutting of lines wasn't particularly straight, and when I needed to do curves that was even more difficult, but I don't think the owls are going to mind. And these little owls have to get out of this little spot just here. Well, as we edge just a little bit closer to 2025, I thought I'd go and explore a new walk today. Now, one of our subscribers has suggested it. It's a walk from Carrbridge to Sluggan Bridge, and I've been reading up a little bit about that. I'll tell you about it when I get there. But for now, let's get on the road. Well, I've arrived in the small village of Carrbridge. Now all I need to do now is find where my trail starts. I don't know if you can see behind me there. This is the old pack horse bridge at Carrbridge. Look how much the water is. There's a viewing platform here which I just can't get onto because it's covered in water. That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, I've just heard that there are a couple of canoeists on this water below me, and they should be here any minute, so I might stick around. We are still waiting. I mean, I don't know if they know if they've even managed to launch. I mean, it just looks deadly, that water. Whee! There's the other one. Oh, there he is. There he is. Come on then, Fudge. Well, we've seen that. We will head off on the walk as originally planned. I'm not sure we'll make it all the way to the bridge and back, just because we've stood around waiting for that. But, well, we wouldn't have wanted to miss that, would we? Anyway, Fudge, you can have a little fly off your lead now. Well, I've just spotted a little CL site. Actually, I've seen it from the road as you go through Carrbridge, and it's just over here behind me. So you come on down a track, and here, and as you can see, there's 3 pictures taken on this. Where are we today? 30th of December today. So there's people out in weather like this. It's great. Okay, well, I left Carrbridge on a path that's signposted, Riverside Path, beside the petrol station. And if you keep going along that path, you come to a footbridge. But that seems to be taking me in the wrong direction. However, if you go straight, instead of turning left over the footbridge, you come to this, very quickly come to this. And it looks like there's a footpath that takes us back up to the road, and it's further on. Now, as I said earlier, I don't know whether I'm actually going to make the walk that I had intended today, because I did take some time waiting for the canoeists, and I'm glad I did, because I can do this walk any time. But anyway, we'll see how far we get. Well, we've come up this lane and we're going under this railway bridge, and there's a road ahead of us, so I don't know whether we'll need to cross that road or go underneath it. I'm definitely on the right track, so let's see. So the news is we did have to cross a busy road, and that's where I made the decision to turn back, not because it wasn't too busy that we couldn't cross it, but it's 2:20 now and it goes dark here around 3:30, and we were still maybe a third of the way there, so obviously we've still got to get there and back. And although we're obviously making much quicker progress, what I didn't want to do is end up risking it being dark when we need to come back across that very busy road later. Just in case you were wondering, the river is called the Dolnain River. I don't know how you say it, so apologies to anybody local if I've completely butchered that. On a day like today, it's quite spectacular. And where I am, this is the bridge that I was telling you about earlier. So if you go across there, you can kind of do a loop round. We're not going to do that because it looks like you're quite close to farmland. It says dogs must be on a lead. Whereas if we carry on our way back along the river the way we came, Fudge can have her final leg stretch before we get back into the car again. Just came across an absolutely gorgeous little cat on the path. I don't think Fudge spotted it, or else it wouldn't have stayed there, but it seemed quite brave. It was about to come out, I think. Quickly turned Fudge in the opposite direction, as I'm pretty sure she would have chased it, given half the chance. Well, as we head back to the car, just going through the little village of Carrbridge, there's not very many shops, but there is a little cafe, a coffee shop, a little convenience store. You can get ice cream, and there's an art studio. There's probably other things as well. Oh my goodness, I forgot to mention the Cairn Hotel, where it looks like there's a bar and they sell cask ales. So if you're into your ales, well, come to Carrbridge. Also for you fellow van lifers, there's motorhome pictures here. So I'm sure you can get the details off there. It's not somewhere where I've noticed before or checked out before, so I don't know what the prices are, but it's just outside the centre of Carrbridge. I should also mention that I parked in the main car park, and it cost me £2, and that was till about 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the best thing is there's some toilets over there, which I'm going to make use of before I go home. So, well, I'll catch you on another day doing something else. See you later. And just in case you thought we were done with the woodwork, oh no, I've got some Christmas presents to tell you about. Well, hello. So, what do you think? Overalls for Christmas, yeah? And look at this beast. So this is my new mitre saw, specially asked for from Santa. So a present from Esna. And let me show you what I've also got over here. Another brand new tool. It's a trend router. Now, I asked for this. This is from my mum and dad for Christmas. I've never used one of these before. I've not really any idea how to use them. I have seen them being used, but I've not studied it because I've never had one. But I can't wait to give this a go. But I'm going to start with a mitre saw because I've got that bird box to finish. So now that I've cut this piece of timber, this baton, I need 3 more of these because these go onto the sides of the 2 pieces that I've cut out for the front and the back, and they're identical in length. So I'm going to cut 3 more identical to this, and then we can start screwing them into place. It's now over to the mitre saw to get the angles. And with the battens cut to the right angle, they can be fixed to the front and back of the bird box. As you can see, I have finished at the front of my bird box. All the battens have been cut and in place. There's 2 at the bottom here and 1 at the top. And when I do the back, it's the same design essentially, but this with the back, you have 1 at the bottom and 2 at the top. With the front and back of the box completed, I'm now putting the inspection hatch back in place and then securing it with 2 blocks and I'll put a little lock at the top with also a little block at the front for easy access. I pre-drilled screws for both sides, one straight down the edge and the other for the front at a slight angle. And this was before attaching the sides and making sure there was an all-weather silicone bead all the way around to stop water ingress. Then it was time to fit the front and the sides together, making sure that the front was angled backwards at the top in line with those pre-drilled screws. The next stages were to add in the floor and screw that into place, and then fix the top and also screw that into place, and then make sure to cover the top with some shed felt. The penultimate stage of this build was to attach a fixing kit. I bought this from the Owl Trust, but you could probably make one. Long arms were needed for this because I needed to hold the bolt at the other side whilst turning this one. Well, there it is, finished. I've got 2 more fixers to put on the back, but I'm waiting to know what measurement. I don't want them to be too big for the tree. And you can probably tell we've got a slight angle on the exercise platform, but I don't think the owls will worry about that. At least it stops them falling off through this, and we've got plenty drainage here, so we should be okay. Oh, we do need to put the inspection hatch on. Let's go and get that. There we go. I am quite pleased to have finished that. It was quite a hard thing to make. It looks all right, doesn't it? Well, it's the 31st of December today, so we're right up to the wire to get this out for you tomorrow. And we can't decide whether it's party frocks or pyjamas tonight. I wonder what it will be.
Definitely pyjamas.
Okay.
But anyway, we just want to thank you all for supporting us over the last 12 months and hopefully continue over the next 12 months.
That'd be brilliant.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you all.